breaking the mold, the revolution of pattern setting. Welcome to the Pink Parachute Diaries, where we amplify the voices of Black women making waves in their fields. Today, I'm absolutely electrified to share insights from my transformative conversation with Rhonda Baker-Stansberry, a visionary whose brilliant mind and courageous spirit have fundamentally reshaped how we think about success in spaces never designed for us. Her revolutionary approach to leadership has created ripples across industries, opening doors for countless Black women who once stood in shadows, waiting for permission that would never come. In our profound conversation, Rhonda didn't just share ideas, she ignited a fire. Her philosophy, don't follow patterns, set them, isn't merely advice. It's a radical manifesto for those of us who've been told our entire lives to stay within lines drawn by others. Think about it. From our earliest days, we're conditioned to follow patterns, color inside the lines, raise your hand before speaking, walk, don't run. These seemingly innocent instructions gradually transform into more restrictive societal expectations. Secure a stable job, climb the corporate ladder, retire at 65, and if you're a Black woman, do it all without being too much of anything. But what happens when those patterns weren't designed with us in mind? What happens when following the rules means diminishing yourself? What happens when the game itself was rigged from the start? This is where the true alchemy begins. This is where transformation ignites. This is where Black women have historically excelled, not by following patterns that exclude them, but by boldly creating new ones that embrace their full, magnificent potential. During my conversation with Rhonda Baker-Stansberry, three powerful insights emerged that I'm passionate about sharing with you today. First, breaking traditional molds isn't just an act of rebellion, it's often the most direct path to authentic success. Consider the remarkable journey of Rhonda Head, a classical singer songwriter who refused to be confined by the rigid expectations of the music industry. The classical music world, with its centuries of tradition and unwritten rules, practically has pattern following encoded in its DNA. But Rhonda Head looked at those patterns and said, I'll create my own. Instead of limiting herself to one traditional role, she embraced multiple disciplines, becoming not just a performer, but also a producer, director, host, and author. When industry gatekeepers said, stay in your lane, she responded by creating entirely new highways. The result? A 2025 Grammy nomination and an astonishing collection of 50 international awards. Let that sink in. By rejecting the conventional wisdom that artists should specialize in one area, Rhonda Head created a multifaceted career that has earned recognition at the highest levels of her industry. Her story reminds me of Maya Angelou's powerful words: if you're always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. Rhonda Head's refusal to follow established patterns allowed her amazingness to shine through in ways that would have been impossible had she confined herself to traditional expectations. The second insight from my conversation with Rhonda Baker-Stansberry centers on persistence through challenges, beautifully illustrated by Dr. Rhonda M. Wood, who leveraged over 30 years of corporate experience to become an award winning advocate for mental health. Now, think about this for a moment. In traditional career trajectories, we're often told to specialize, to focus narrowly on developing expertise in one area. Stay in your lane isn't just advice for artists, it's the mantra of corporate America. But Dr. Wood took a different approach. Rather than viewing her corporate background and her passion for mental health advocacy as separate paths, she created a powerful intersection between them. This wasn't easy. Mental health advocacy often faces stigma and resistance, particularly in corporate environments where vulnerability is frequently mistaken for weakness. Yet, Dr. Wood persisted, creating a bridge between business leadership and social impact that has established new patterns for how corporate experience can be channeled into meaningful advocacy work. Her journey reminds us of Audre Lorde's wisdom. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. Dr. Wood's courage in combining seemingly disparate worlds has made her a recognized champion for change, recently featured in the Brilliance Business TV show as a leading expert. The third insight that emerged from my conversation with Rhonda Baker-Stansberry focuses on community building as innovation. This is powerfully demonstrated by Rhonda Henderson, whose unique approach to bringing people together earned her the Ambassador of the Year award for the East Coast. What makes Henderson's story particularly compelling is her description of community building as joyful and liberating. In a world where organizational structures often feel rigid and constraining, she created a model that prioritizes connection and authentic engagement. As a founder, Henderson recognized that setting new patterns for community engagement required breaking away from conventional approaches. Her work bringing the Surge family together wasn't just about gathering people in a room, it was about creating spaces where individuals could truly thrive together. This reminds me of Shirley Chisholm's famous declaration: if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Henderson took this wisdom a step further. She didn't just bring a chair, she built an entirely new table where everyone could feel welcome. These three remarkable women, Rhonda Head, Dr. Rhonda M. Wood, and Rhonda Henderson, exemplify what happens when Black women refuse to be confined by existing patterns and instead create their own. Their success isn't despite their unconventional approaches, it's because of them. But here's the question that matters most: how can we apply these insights to our own lives and careers? First, we must identify the patterns that limit us. These might be external expectations about what success should look like, or internal beliefs about what we're capable of achieving. As Black women, we often face double binds: expected to be assertive but not aggressive, professional but not intimidating. These contradictory expectations create patterns that can keep us trapped in cycles of second guessing ourselves. The poet Nikki Giovanni once said, "A lot of people resist transition and therefore never allow themselves to enjoy who they are." Embrace the change, no matter what it is. Once you do, you can learn about the new world you're in and take advantage of it. Identifying limiting patterns is the first step toward embracing the change that leads to greater fulfillment. Second, we must be willing to combine seemingly unrelated skills and interests. Rhonda Head didn't choose between being a singer songwriter or a producer. She embraced both, along with several other roles. Dr. Wood didn't abandon her corporate experience when she became a mental health advocate. She leveraged it to create greater impact. This willingness to integrate diverse aspects of ourselves is particularly important for Black women who have historically been pressured to compartmentalize their identities to fit into spaces that weren't designed for them. As Audre Lorde reminded us, there is no such thing as a single issue struggle because we do not live single issue lives. Third, we must create communities that support our pattern setting rather than forcing us back into established molds. Rhonda Henderson's joyful and liberating approach to community building offers a powerful model for this. When we surround ourselves with people who celebrate our uniqueness rather than demanding our conformity, we create environments where innovation can flourish. The writer Toni Morrison captured this beautifully when she said the function of freedom is to free someone else. By building communities that embrace new patterns, we don't just liberate ourselves, we create space for others to break free as well. I want to share an affirmation that has guided many successful pattern setters. I am not confined by the patterns others have created. I have the power and wisdom to create patterns that honor my unique gifts and purpose. This isn't just positive thinking, it's a radical declaration of self determination. It acknowledges that many existing patterns weren't designed with us in mind, and it claims our right to create alternatives that better serve our aspirations and communities. As we conclude, I want to leave you with this thought: pattern setting isn't just about individual success, it's about collective liberation. When we dare to create new patterns, we don't just change our own lives, we change the landscape for everyone who comes after us. I challenge you today: identify one pattern in your life that's limiting your potential. It might be a career path you're following because it's expected, not because it fulfills you. It might be a relationship dynamic that keeps you small. It might be a belief about what's possible for someone like you. Now, imagine what would happen if you didn't just break that pattern, but created an entirely new one. What doors would open? What possibilities would emerge? What liberation might you experience? And what liberation might you create for others? The world doesn't change when we follow patterns. It changes when we have the courage to set new ones. And if there's one thing I know about the people in this room, it's that you have that courage within you waiting to be unleashed. Don't follow patterns, set them, and watch how the world transforms around you.